The Christmas Story of 2025 by Carl Galletti. Feel free to pass this along to others who might appreciate it. Christmas Eve, Dad never had much patience for people who blew their money on things they didn't need and then complained about being broke. But for those who were genuinely struggling, through no fault of their own, his heart was as big as the Montana sky. It was from him I learned that the deepest joy in life comes from giving, not from receiving. It was Christmas Eve, and I was 15 years old. I felt like my whole world had collapsed because there just wasn't enough money to buy me the gaming laptop I'd been wanting all year. The one all my friends already had. The one I'd dropped hints about for months. We finished up the evening chores early that night. I figured Dad just wanted some extra time to watch a movie together or something. After dinner, I kicked off my boots and sprawled on the couch, scrolling through my phone, still feeling sorry for myself. But Dad didn't sit down. Instead, he pulled his Carhartt back on and headed for the door. "Come on, Ethan," he said. "Bundle up. It's cold out tonight." I was irritated. Not only was I not getting the laptop, now Dad was dragging me out into the freezing December air for no reason I could figure. We'd already fed the animals and done everything that needed doing. But I knew better than to drag my feet when Dad told me to do something. So I got up, pulled on my boots, grabbed my coat and gloves. Mom gave me a little smile as I headed out, like she knew something I didn't. Outside, my heart sank further. Dad had already backed the pickup around and was loading the big trailer. Whatever we were doing, it wasn't going to be quick. We never hooked up that trailer unless we were hauling a serious load. I climbed into the passenger seat. The cold was already biting through my jacket. I wasn't happy. Dad pulled around to the woodshed. "Help me load up," he said. We started stacking firewood into the trailer. The same wood I'd spent all summer helping to cut and split. What was he doing? "Dad," I finally asked, "what's going on?" "You been by the Martinez place lately?" The Martinez family lived a few miles down the road. Mr. Martinez had died in a construction accident last spring, leaving behind his wife and 3 kids. The oldest was maybe 8. "Sure, I'd driven past their place plenty of times." "So what?" "Yeah," I said. "Why?" "I stopped by there this morning," Dad said quietly. "Saw little Diego outside, trying to gather up scraps from their woodpile. They're out of firewood, Ethan. Completely out. House was cold as a barn." That was all he said. He turned and went back for another armload. We stacked that trailer until I wondered if the truck could even pull it. Then Dad went to the chest freezer in the garage and pulled out a turkey and a big package of steaks. He handed them to me and told me to put them in the back seat. When he came back, he was carrying 2 bags of groceries and a big plastic sack from Walmart. "What's in that one?" I asked. "Winter coats, boots, gloves." He paused. "Diego was outside in a hoodie and sneakers this morning. 20 degrees out, and the kid was in sneakers. I got them each something warm to wear. Picked up a few toys too. It wouldn't be Christmas without something for the kids to open." We drove to the Martinez place mostly in silence. My mind was spinning. We weren't rich. Not even close. Dad worked hard, and we had what we needed, but there was never much extra. Sure, we had a full woodshed and a freezer full of meat because Dad hunted and we worked hard. But I knew we didn't have money just lying around. Why was Dad buying coats and boots for someone else's kids? And honestly, why was this our problem? The Martinez family had neighbors closer than us. We pulled up to the back of their house with the headlights off and unloaded the wood as quietly as we could. Then we carried the food and the bags to the front door and knocked. The door cracked open. "Who is it?" A woman's voice, cautious and tired. "It's Jack Caldwell, ma'am. And my son, Ethan. Mind if we come in for a minute?" Mrs. Martinez opened the door. She had a blanket around her shoulders. Inside, the 3 kids were huddled together on the couch under a pile of quilts, a small space heater doing almost nothing against the cold. "We brought a few things," Dad said simply. He set the groceries on the counter. I put the turkey and steaks in her nearly empty freezer. Then Dad handed her the Walmart bag. She opened it slowly, pulled out a winter coat, then another, then the boots and gloves, one set for each child. Good quality stuff, too. Not the cheapest things on the rack. Her lip started to tremble. Tears spilled down her cheeks. She looked up at Dad and tried to say something, but nothing came out. "We brought a load of firewood too," Dad said. "Ethan, go bring in enough to last them a while. Let's get this place warmed up." I wasn't the same person when I walked back outside. I had a lump in my throat the size of a fist. And yeah, I'll admit it, tears in my eyes too. I kept seeing those three little kids huddled together in that freezing house, and their mom standing there, so overwhelmed with gratitude she couldn't even speak. Something shifted inside me, a warmth I'd never quite felt before. I had given things at Christmas before, sure, but never when it mattered this much. Never when I could see that what we were doing might literally be saving a family. I got the fire roaring in their fireplace. The whole mood of the house changed. The kids started laughing when Dad handed each of them a candy bar from his pocket. Mrs. Martinez smiled, really smiled for what looked like the first time in a long time. She finally found her voice. "I don't know how to thank you," she said, her voice breaking. "We've been hoping, just hoping someone would." She stopped, shook her head, wiped her eyes. "You have no idea what this means." The lump came back to my throat. I looked at my dad, really looked at him. This man who got up before dawn every day, who never complained, who always seemed to show up wherever he was needed. I'd never quite seen him this way before, but standing in that small, warming house, I realized something. I was looking at the best man I'd ever known. Dad made sure all the kids tried on their new coats and boots before we left. They fit perfectly, every one. I didn't ask how he'd known the sizes. At the door, Dad turned back to Mrs. Martinez. "The missus wanted me to invite you all over for Christmas dinner tomorrow. She's cooking way too much food, and I'm going to get grumpy if I have to eat turkey leftovers for a week. We'll swing by around noon to pick you up. It'll be nice having some little ones around. This guy here hasn't been little for a long time." He jerked his thumb at me. Mrs. Martinez nodded, her eyes wet again. "Thank you, Mr. Caldwell. Thank you so much." Out in the truck, I felt a warmth from somewhere deep inside, and I didn't even notice the cold anymore. After a few miles, Dad broke the silence. "Ethan, I want you to know something." He kept his eyes on the road. "Your mom and I have been setting aside a little money here and there all year so we could get you that laptop. But we came up short. Then, just yesterday, a guy who owed me money from a job I did years ago showed up out of nowhere and paid me back. Your mom and I got excited. We finally had enough." He paused. "I was driving into town this morning to buy it. But on the way, I passed the Martinez place and saw little Diego outside in that hoodie and those worn-out sneakers, trying to find a few sticks of wood in 20-degree weather. And I knew what I had to do." He glanced at me. "I spent the money on coats and boots and a little bit of Christmas for those kids. I hope you understand." I understood. My eyes blurred with tears again. I understood completely. And I was so glad he'd done it. Suddenly, the laptop seemed like the smallest, most unimportant thing in the world. Because Dad had given me something so much bigger. He'd given me the look on Mrs. Martinez's face. He'd given me the laughter of those three kids as the house finally got warm. He'd given me a glimpse of what it really means to be a man. For the rest of my life, whenever I saw any of the Martinez kids or stacked a cord of firewood, I remembered that night. And remembering always brought back the same deep warmth I felt riding home next to Dad in that old pickup. He gave me far more than any laptop that Christmas. He gave me the best Christmas of my life. And that's what I wish for you this holiday season.